joining us, Justin Langlois. Um, yeah, just want to we'll do a quick talk. Start with kind of where you grew up and how you got in the industry. Just like quick, kind of brief background. What part of the country did you grow up in?
From Baton Rouge. So I'm like one of those boomerang kids. I grew up here, went to high school here, and then I went away to college, not too far away. I went to Mississippi to Millsaps, small little three school. Played soccer there,
Oh,
and
nice.
then came back here. Had a couple of job opportunities when I came back, and actually got in the commercial rigging and hardware industry for a while, which was great because you got this degree and you're all bougie and you're fancy, and they put you in a warehouse like working in a shop. So I was humbled pretty quick, but then I made my way inside the office and became a sales guy and helped them out with AR and AP and payroll and FedEx, all the fun stuff you do when you're like the college kid, the kid out of college.
Yeah. And then how did you transition from there to real estate?
My brother and I have a twin brother. I'm more
Really?
like Danny DeVito. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger, big dude. He played offensive line at Louisiana Tech. We entered this business plan competition with the Baton Rouge Business Report, and we came in second place. And it got me thinking about what I was doing. I really enjoyed what I was doing. I worked with some older guys that, I didn't know if there was really any potential ownership in my future. And, you say that as a 22, 23-year-old, and that doesn't come until you're like 40, maybe even 50 years old. So I was around commercial real estate my entire life. It never really hit me that it was a profession. My dad, for 45, almost 50 years, was a commercial lender. We didn't grow up owning commercial real estate, but once I got out of school and when I got into commercial real estate, I think year one of commercial real estate, my dad and my brother and I, we bought it. So
Oh, cool.
I knew about it. I just didn't know that much about it. I really didn't know it was a profession like it is today. It's broadcast all over LinkedIn and other outlets.
Did y'all continue with that investing, and you guys own a bunch of properties as a family?
We've got some stuff together. We put some money into a bank that started up here in Baton Rouge that acquired another bank in Louisiana. We've put some money into some deals through the company that I work with, Sterling. Almost like syndicates, I guess, GP LP structure, which to me is the fantastic form of ownership. You get a check in the mail, you don't have to worry about tenants, leasing, property management issues, maintenance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. And then how did your brokerage career, how did that start?
I remember I asked my dad, I was like, this is something I really want to do. I didn't want to lean on him or like go to one of his buddies and talk to them about it. So he recommended 3 or 4 places. I interviewed with them. Of course, I liked the young, hip, cool office. And he was like, I'm telling you, go with like the old dogs. He's like, surround yourself. And that's what I did. So I ended up at Sealy and Falgu was the name of the firm at the time. And they primarily did industrial, vacant land, and they did some office. But over my first year or so being there, maybe 2 years of being there, they would just send a lot of retail out the door. People would come in that owned industrial buildings. They also owned some shopping centers, multi and single tenant stuff. And they were like, we really don't do that. So I just started asking, like, before you send that person out the door, give me. So it's where I got started. I was there for a handful of years. I went out with a couple partners. We opened our own shop. So I had my own shop for roughly 12 years collectively. And then my partners, Steve Lejean and Ben Graham, we sold our company to Sterling, the company that I'm with now. I think it was about 5 years ago.
Gotcha. Yeah. What kind of drove great offer, bigger reach?
It was a solid offer. Blaine Strickland, our mutual buddy, commercial real estate coach, old Blaine, he actually helped. He kind of helped us negotiate like a royalty deal into our the
Oh,
acquisition, which was very beneficial. And I think for us, like we were with SVN, Sperry Van Ness. We had a like a looming 5-year franchise renewal that was coming up, and we had fun. We grew that place from I think 3 people to 25 people over a 4 or 5 year period initially. But we got to the point where it was like we just wanted to get back into doing deals, not really managing people, hiring,
yeah,
firing, paying rent, that kind of stuff. So the opportunity came along. It was unsolicited. We had a couple of groups that just kind of pinged us right around the same time, and we knew Sterling really well, great reputation. They own a lot of stuff in the market. They also have a ton of real estate advisors and asset and property managers. So it was
nice. Um, Great. And then, what are I guess, what are you focused on right now, given local market dynamics, just
yeah.
overall market dynamics, kind of what's your focus right
For a long time, it's been multi-tenant retail. Kind of early on in the infancy of my career, I did a lot of affordable housing, workforce housing. I saw the writing on the wall in that industry. A lot of those folks, those principals know each other. So you go to a conference and like one dude's trading 100 doors in, Knoxville for 200 doors in Tampa. And you could kind of
now?
see the brokers getting pushed out.
Yeah.
So multi-tenant retail, strip centers, power centers, grocery anchored shopping centers. That's mostly my bread and butter. I also do a lot by way of like multi-tenant office and then multi-tenant medical office.
Okay.
So
So retail and office.
yeah, primarily retail and office.
Retail.
Believe it or not, like in my market, and I think in the Gulf South, a lot of Gulf South markets, um, they kind of go hand in hand. There are a lot of similarities with respect to how we underwrite it, how you
Uh,
guys analyze it and help us assess value. The
yeah.
leases are somewhat similar, so there's a lot of synergy between those.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the similar. Um, you've got, the MLAs usually are a little bit more kind of varied and unique for the retail properties, but yeah, you have a lot of similarity. We like using Argus. I mean, primarily we use Argus for just office and retail,
Yeah,
a little bit of industrial, but
it's what you're starting to see. You see it in larger markets, but you're starting to see it in these tertiary markets where these offices, some are called suburban offices, we call them garden offices. They tend to be smaller, 10,000 square feet and under.
mhm.
They're kind of morphing from a modified gross or gross lease to net, and now we've got double nets, and then we've actually recently done a handful of triple net office lease, which
Yes.
was pretty rare. I mean, the office world, like the office building I'm in, it's a big 10-story class A office building, and it's full service. You pay one, you write one
Uh,
check, and everything's taken care of, from electricity to janitorial to landscaping and taxes and insurance. So it's you're seeing people pay more for some sort of standalone office, or an office maybe like in a smaller office park than they would in like a class A office building. It's also I
yeah,
think one of the issues that's hurting class A, aside from hybrid work from home stuff.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, what drives? I mean, like in Denver, the Class A towers, they're all triple net structures, but then when you get into Class B suburban, it's more of that kind of gross structure, full service growth with base years. What drives kind of like, we worked with one client that he has a lot of tenants, a lot of smaller tenants, but a great market. He was able to change structure for all new tenants to triple net because
Yeah,
we were looking in the future, and you can see, his taxes were pretty low, and they're about to. So we're like, if you go
yeah,
triple net, then you'll be able to recapture that. Um, so that's what he did, and it really worked out for him.
yeah. No, it's. I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm like, take less base rent today for a triple net lease. Even if you cap controllable expenses. Your non-controllables are things like taxes and insurance. But controllables are like the dumpster company, the street sweeper, parking lot sweeper, the grass cutter. You know, you might have a little bit of leakage there where, landlord's paying $200,000 a year for these services and he's only getting reimbursed 150 or, 100. But dude, you're so much better off, especially in an Argus model 5, 10 years from now, when you're capturing those expenses.
Otherwise, you're resetting that base year on the higher
Yeah.
taxes, and yeah. Um, cool. Yeah. Anything else you're seeing in in the local market? Like, how does the rest of the year looking for you in terms of
Yeah.
transactions, like BOVs? Kind of what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, for the last 2 years, we do a lot of work for special servicers. So lenders, mortgage brokers, a lot of regional and local banks. We've definitely seen an uptick in BOV requests from those servicers. We've also seen an uptick from family offices. This would be, maybe it's like a father and a daughter and a couple of other kids or whatever, family members that own some real estate. And some of them are just trying to improve their stock. So maybe they're trying to sell a B and go out and borrow some money and replace it with an A. Again, it kind of goes back to a comment I made to you earlier, which is there's riches and niches. And, when you specialize and you focus on, maybe it's just work for special servicers. Believe it or not, there's a tremendous amount of work in that niche within commercial real estate. Multi-tenant office, single tail, whatever it might be. Like there's an abundance of business out there. I do think a lot of us right now, you look at your pipeline. I remember looking at my pipeline 2 years ago in the first quarter, and I was like, man, this year is going to be dreadful. It was the best year of my career. Last year, same thing, even better. This year, first quarter, I don't know, sluggish start, then like dominoes start to fall. So it's there for a small few, I guess, a minority of the commercial real estate community. But there's, again, I'll say it. You can make me a T-shirt, riches and niches. Like there's nothing better than telling people you're a specialist and actually specializing in it.
Yeah, there's so much nuance and value you can create. Yeah, how can people get a hold of you? Best way to reach out to you?
I got a personal website that I keep and a newsletter I pump out once a month with rad videos like this. So it's Justin Langlois, CRE.com. And if you spell my last name right, dude, you've hit the lottery. It's amazing.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Awesome, Val. Appreciate it.